Welcome, 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 everybody. You are live in Rhonda's room, and this is Onsite with Rhonda. Can you believe this is episode 5, guys? 5. And I have got the most incredible guest tonight. I'm so excited that she is here. She is my friend. She is my colleague. She is so much, and we just hit it off when we first met, and her name is Tomika Mack. Thank you, Tomika, for being my guest tonight, and welcome, welcome, welcome. You are in Rhonda's room. Buckle up, baby.
I am in Rhonda's room. Yes, I am. So glad to be here. So glad to be here.
Well, just take a quick second and just introduce yourself and just tell everybody, like, where you're from and just a little bit about you before we get into like your story and all of that and where we're going to go. So just kind of let them know who you be and what you do.
Sure. All right. So I am Tomika Mack. Mack is my married name, of course. I am a native of Shreveport, Louisiana. I am a mother of 2 beautiful children, a son and a daughter. And then I have 2 bonus children by marriage. And again, so I am a wife. I am married to a living legend, Derek L. Mack. And I am a social worker by trade. But before I was formed in my mom's womb, God knew that I was a social worker. And so I am definitely a part of a great kingdom that is invisible to the eye, but I know exactly who I am from a spiritual standpoint. I am the oldest of 3 other siblings. I'm my mom's oldest child, and I'm also my dad's oldest child as well. And right now I'm pursuing a doctorate degree in theology. I love all things God and spirit. So in May, I will be Dr. Tomika H. Mack, pats on my back. And so I was reared by my grandmother, rest her soul. So I am the manifestation of many prayers and sacrifices. So I also represent her legacy as well.
Wow, that's incredible. I mean, just to know where you come from and just to be able to express yourself in the way that you just did, that's incredible. I mean, you're glowing, you're radiating tonight. You are beautiful. You looking good. You looking good.
Yeah.
And I want to tell everybody how we met. We met in the greatest way. And it was so perfect the way we met, because we met at the manifestation celebration and in Mississippi, where we were both speakers. And it was so funny because I knew I was going to go to it, but you know how you don't really feel like a certain draw until you're there and you realize it. And when I got there and when I heard you speak and I heard, Coach D speak, I was like, now I know why I'm here. I was here to meet the 2 of you. And I had him on the show. And now I as soon as when you started talking about your story, I was like, girl, we are parallel.
Yeah.
We are so parallel. It's scary.
Yeah.
And it was just like, wow, you and I have so many similar experiences. And I was like, I had to connect with you. And so it's no coincidence that we met at a manifestation celebration, and when it manifested, we met, and boom, here you are right here on the show. So thank you. Now, guys, as we're talking, okay, you can go ahead and make comments and ask questions, and I can pull them up. Let me just make sure. Yeah, we're on the thing. Okay. So we're live on Facebook right now, E360 TV, Roku TV, iOS platform, Android platform, Apple TV, Periscope, YouTube, all of it. We're live on all of those platforms. Right now. Yeah, we getting it. So you can comment, but if you comment on Facebook, I'll be able to bring the comments up. All right, so let's start. What I loved about you when I met you, the thing that intrigued me the most was, as you were speaking, you said something I've never heard somebody say before. And I was like, wow. You said that, sometimes the decisions you make cost other people. And you have to be able to see the flip side. Like a lot of people always talk about, oh, I made this great decision and it was great for success and all this. But then when you started talking about that, I was like, whoa. And then when you told us what it was, and I was like, I have got to get your story out there. So
yeah,
let's start there. Let's start there. Okay. So what do you mean by that? That sometimes your decisions can hurt other people. What does that mean?
so that means exactly what it says, that our, especially those unhealed places. Okay.
Mhm.
So for me, I had a normal life up until I was about 6.5 years old. And then my life shifted, and I never knew wholeness from that point. But most definitely when I turned 12 years old, my entire existence, everything about me vanished. And it vanished because of somebody else's unhealed places, right? So I was molested and fully raped by my stepfather at the time, okay?
Wow.
And I didn't realize until I just finally just submitted to this healing process that my behaviors moving forward were not directly the molestation and the rape. It was the actions of someone else, in a sense, that told my business, that I trusted, that I had to build this protective barrier. So I'm 12, and I'm not your fast 12-year-old. I still play with dolls and everything, but I was raising my siblings too. Because I was in and out of the home, so I was raising my siblings. I had a lot of adult responsibilities, and so I needed somebody to live my life. Though I couldn't deal with me as the girl, Tomika. I needed something hard. I needed somebody that could stand out front and live my life for me. And at 12 years old, I closed the door and I went in for 24 years. Okay. Wow. But of course, I'm still a girl. I've always had this wild imagination, and just the normal imagination that little girls have. We start preparing for marriage. As soon as we already married our dolls off. And so because a lot of things were taken away from me, that normalcy, my imaginations were so damaged. Marriage was the only thing that I stored all of I stored my excelling moment. I was like, once I get married, then I'll break. Everything will be okay. And that's when I come alive, not realizing that I was speaking out that very thing. It just didn't come the way that I thought it would come.
Right.
And so that means when your decisions can hurt somebody else, I had a lot of time to deal with my issues and to feel the emotions of the pain and stuff that I had gone through. I've gone through many traumas, so much abuse, so much heartache and pain, oh my God. But I would not let those things go because they were my protection.
Yeah.
They were my protection. And so because of that, of course, I lived my life through the lens of fear. So I was always waiting for something to happen, something to take my happiness away. Something's coming. Yeah. And because of that fear, because I peered through those lenses, I went out with my husband one Sunday, beautiful Sunday. Okay. I'm very fond of the bottle. And so during that time, I also was trying to lose weight. So I was not eating. I wasn't taking care of myself, just trying to hurry and get to a place of familiarity, which is go back to the size I was when I first met him, because I'm thinking that's the issue, and it's not. So we go out, we have a good time, and I get intoxicated, true enough. But to be 100% honest, it was more so, wasn't so much the alcohol. The alcohol caused me not to be able to make good judgment from what I saw. And I thought I saw him cheating on me. I thought that I saw him cheating on me, and I went berserk. And because of that, I ended up causing a major car accident. I distracted him. Neither one of us can really remember what happened, but I know I was trying to get out of the car at one point in time, and we just was tussling in the car, and we flipped over in the car. So we flipped over in the car, and thank God somebody was behind us and saw that, called emergency. Right. And the last thing I remember was feeling my husband's hand, because I literally thought I died, to be honest. And when I realized that I was alive, that's the only person I was concerned about was him. Like, where's my husband? And my husband was very bored, but I remember grabbing his hand, and he said, "Baby, I'm okay." And I was like, okay, all right. And I went on to the hospital by ambulance. And I later on found out that he came by police car. He didn't come in the ambulance to avoid a deal, right?
Okay.
So I'm in the hospital. I couldn't understand what was going on. I said, I remember having fun. I'm looking at my legs and they're bloody, and people start showing up. Why are they up here at this hospital?
Right.
I just didn't understand what was going on. So I was in and out of consciousness. Of course, I suffered a head injury during the car accident. So later on that night, it was either the doctor or the police. I can't remember, but a man came in, called my name, Mrs. Mack. I woke up and looked, and he said, I regret to inform you. And of course, my heart just went into, I was like, inform me of what? Because my husband is alive. So I'm like, inform me of what? And he said, well, I regret to inform you that your husband has been involved in a train accident. And so I was like, but I was happy because I was like, oh no, I said, my car, something went on with my car. I was like, no, we weren't in a train accident. And so my mom and everybody else that was there, they just was kind of looking at me. And then he was like, no, ma'am, he was run over by a train tonight, and his legs were amputated. And I'm like, no, we were nowhere by a train. I'm like, no. Wow. But when he said he's in surgery, I said, oh, I'm thinking, well, whatever went wrong is now
fixed, right?
He's in surgery. But the story is very, very long, guys. But to make a long story short, my unhealed places, my messed up vision of what I thought I saw caused a car accident that caused my husband to have a head injury that he did not get treated for. He came to the hospital about me, but left walking. And then he the train track and fell and knocked himself out. And by the time the train got close, he was trying to get himself off the track, and it amputated him below the knee on both legs. But because that's a train, and the nasty debris and all of that caused infections, and so he is now a bilateral amputee, and I wear the face of that. Okay, so so that's what I mean when the decisions that we make. I made a decision not to heal. Okay, I can make a decision to try to hurt me or my husband, but I lived places unhealed. That was irresponsible, and that was also selfish. And now my husband is impaired for the rest of his life.
Right. Wow.
Yeah, so that's what I mean.
Okay. If you're just joining us now, all right, that's a lot. And that's just the beginning, guys. It's just the beginning of this. And Tomika, thank you so much for sharing that. And I see we've got lots of people watching, you know, and stuff. And Gwendolyn is saying hello. Man, she's amazing. We definitely need to hook up with Gwendolyn and her group. That's just side note. Okay, I love her. But let us know where you're watching from, guys, and you know, speak out and interact. You know how this is, how we do. So Tomika, thank you so much for sharing that. Now, what I want to do right now is, before we transition, okay, because that was a whole lot to, you know, unpack. I meant to play this before we started. I'm gonna play it now.
Okay.
So, and I've learned the hard way, okay, that I can't let the whole song play, or Facebook locks it down and shuts it down and pulls it down. So I can only play like the first minute. That's it. But it's perfect for right now. So I am going to bring this up.
Girl, you better not make me cry. I know that. Just in case. Just in case, girl. Just in case. Oh, girl. Girl.
One day, this young man by the name of Dennis Reed happened to come in the room and get on the piano. And I told him then, I said, let's go on Facebook Live because I feel like somebody needs to hear this message right here. He wrote this song, you guys. It goes like this. I am who I am today. Because God used my mistake. He worked them for my good. Yeah. Like no one else ever could. Girls, can you let me say that? Come on. I am who I am today. I went through. Everything that you're going through, you have to understand that it is a test for a testimony. Yeah. If you know that you've been through some things in this room, or you're going through some things right now, you ought to just lift up your hands right now. Can we say that again? Can we say it again? Like no one else.
Lord. Yeah, amen.
I got to stop it there. I hope we don't get blocked. I hope it doesn't come off. But that song was dropped in my spirit, Tomika, because with your story, and I know, sometimes when we make mistakes, and I've made so many mistakes, that shame and guilt locked me for years, and regret locked me for years. And a friend of mine sent me that song a long time ago for something I was going through, and it just dropped on me today. I was like, that's the song that I need to play for this broadcast, because here you are today. And yes, although all that happened, let's get to the other side of where you are now. Because you would think that if something of that magnitude happened, surely your marriage would fall apart. Surely, but it hasn't.
Right.
And you're standing here and you're helping so many, and you are just, powerhouse. And it's just an incredible testimony. That's the best word I can think of. A preparation for a testimony for where you are. And, and I love how, you can see the depth of why you're here. And that's what I really want everyone to see is, don't get locked in those mistakes. Don't get locked in that regret, because there's so much more ahead. So since that has happened, where are you now? And what are you doing now?
Oh goodness. Okay. So since that happened, so much has happened. But since that, my goodness, I have become a certified life coach. I have established my ministry. I always knew I had a call on my life, but I just knew I was different. And so I was like, I just don't know where I fit, man. But I knew even before all of this, I knew I had a call. I just didn't know what was going to force me outward. So I've definitely accepted that call. Like, I have publicly accepted that I have a call to duty to help heal. To help women heal the unhealed little girl, heal the unhealed child inside of them. That's my calling. And so I accepted that. I began just speaking out. Again, I don't have any broadcasting skills. I'm not polished. I didn't go to school for any of it, but I just know what's inside of me to do. And so I just set out on that journey. And I'm loving this small beginning, because I'm literally turning nothing into something. And so that's where I am. I just finished. I did life coaching with Sade. Shout out to my life coach, man. That girl held my hand last year in March. I finally just submit to the actual healing process. So this incident took place May 6, 2018. Okay. And it took me 2 years to decide. Even after all of that, I still was like, But I was like, man, I don't have anything else left,
Right.
but go ahead and heal and just go through this process. And I did. And from there, I began coaching myself to use the tool set that's inside of me to keep going, and not only just keep going, but to actually be me. Of course, people have seen my face, but I wasn't in this vehicle. I was gone. But to actually come back and say, you know what, I'm gonna stand up and I'm going to be Tomika Hardy Mack, because my thing was I wanted to get away from Tomika Hardy. I just felt like the name, just so much is attached to that name. But of course, you know, Mack is where I end up getting my strength from. So my marriage is way more than that's my boo. Cute now.
Oh no, and I love something that you said, and I gotta like pause, just like press pause for a second. Sarah is on here. She said, "Hello, badass ladies."
Hey, Sarah.
Strength. I want you to. It's incredible. I mean, you're saying it like it was nothing, but you said you put yourself through coaching. You did it yourself, and you spent a long time doing that.
122 days.
Yes. And so where did you find the strength, Tomika, to do that yourself? Because that's the hardest thing. Number one, to admit you got to deal with something is hard enough, you know? So, but then to do it yourself, do it alone. I mean, where did the strength come from for that?
Well, this is what I did. And I know people think I'm weird, but I'm literally like, I came to teach the spiritual things. Okay.
Right.
So what happened, I separated myself. Of course, God is in the midst, but I put my strong side and I pulled the little girl out.
Yeah.
So I literally just allowed the untraumatized woman that I would have been prior to all of those bad seasons pull the little girl forward. And it will, let me tell you something. Now I know people say, now that woman crazy, she talking about herself, but yourself, you have to get in the ring with you. See, me, you do addiction. I didn't have addictions to substances, not really alcohol, kind of, but I was into destruction and pain for me.
My addiction was sex. Remember, I didn't have an addiction to drugs. My addiction was sex.
Yeah, and mine was
disorder. But my mother was an alcoholic, and there's so much addiction in my family. Like addiction is the whole components of addiction, the behavioral components of addiction are similar no matter what the substance is, whether it's a person, place, or thing.
Right.
You know? So that's one of the ways you and I are parallel. And what you just said is like, I have to slow you down sometimes because you don't realize, Tomika, how powerful you are.
Girl.
The things you just said, you had to pull the younger girl, the little girl. Okay. All right. This woman that's commenting right now, Sarah Goggin Young, girl, she took me through something the other day. This is what I do to people. I'm like, you know, get in touch with the younger. She took me through a transformation on the phone. First time I talked to her and took me higher. Yeah. And, you know, and Tomika, you have that same anointing on you. And for you to have the strength to do it yourself and to recognize, I love what you said. You speak to the unhealed woman, because when the little girl gets healed, the woman shows up.
Oh, the woman is lit.
Yeah, she's lit. She's fierce. She's a badass. She's everything, you know, but we get stuck, you know, in our mistakes. We get stuck in those things that we do that hurt other people. And then that can stop us and block us from ever becoming who we're meant to be. But it's necessary. That's why that song was dropped on me. It's necessary, Tomika. God uses all of our mistakes. It's necessary to go through, you know, and, oh yeah, see, she's just blowing up my thing. Sarah wants to meet you as well. Okay. And she's like, we have got to meet. Demetria, I tell her that she's powerful and doesn't even know it. Thank you. I tell her the same damn thing. Okay. I'm like, girl, you need to you are more powerful than you realize. But here's the thing. What's great about you is don't have that arrogance. You truly, like my sister tells me this all the time. She was like, Ron, you don't realize how great you are. I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. She's like, Ron, I wish you could see yourself through my eyes.
Yeah.
Tomika, you don't realize how powerful you are. So so go ahead, continue with you coached yourself. I just had to press pause for a second because you didn't even realize what you just said.
Mm-hmm.
And you're dropping these amazing things like nothing.
Yeah.
Because it's in you.
Yeah. It was hard. I that's all I can say. It was hard because this little girl been inside for 24 years. Okay. And so I literally coaching myself was a struggle, but I vowed at the beginning not to do anything to hurt me. See, my thing was I can't let nobody else hurt me. So I'll hurt me, and then maybe people will just leave me alone. So I'll just destroy me. So to nurture that little girl, literally, because the situation as far as my husband, that wasn't a fully functioning grown woman that did that. I didn't get married as a grown woman. I got married as a frightened little girl.
As a little girl that wanted that safety.
Right. Yeah. And grab hold to something and make this thing real for me. And so I realized, I was like, man, I was never in love with my husband. I was in fear with him the entire time before that happened. So to pull myself forward and say, you know, it's okay for you to come on out. And I had to remind the little girl, I had to remind her before all of that, like, you were awesome. Like before all of these things happened to you, you just were like, you came here knowing exactly. And I just had to remind her, you came to heal. So you had to go, you know, you had to go through those things. But I also, like I said, I stand and take responsibility that, you know, to teach people the spiritual side of things. This situation didn't have to happen in a sense, but God already knew it was going to happen. So he placed everything in me to handle it. You see what I'm saying? So, but it didn't have to. And I can see that if I had let go of a lot of that baggage and also just adhered to what I was feeling leading up to this don't have to be my reality. But my job is to help people, hey, come all the way over here because you may not be strong enough to deal with something to this magnitude. Yeah. But coaching myself was difficult, but I enjoyed it because I was like, you know, at the end of the day, and we're hard on our parents sometimes. We're like, you know, they should have did. But to be honest with y'all, their only job was to get us in the earth.
Yeah.
We should take care of our children. We should, but I had to get to a point where I stopped blaming, you know, this wouldn't happen and that wouldn't happen. And I said, you know, whatever I'm lacking, I have enough substance in me to nurture what I missed as a kid.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's so powerful that you say that because I was just speaking like before this, we were talking about having a mountaintop mindset, you know, and people can be in a valley. They could be stuck in a valley. And it came to me, you know, when, you know, a valley is surrounded by mountains, you know, and a valley is comfortable and it's nice. And it's surrounded by mountains, and many people won't even venture to go up that mountain because they're like, they'll look at the mountain, they'll be like, oh my God, I'll never be able to do that. Or I got to train, I got to do all this. And they're like, nah, never mind. But then there'll be somebody else who's be like, I wonder what's on the top of that mountain. And they'll do everything. And, you know, once you know, get comfortable in something, you won't move. Sometimes you have to be uncomfortable because you'll never know you can soar. Uncomfortableness comes to let you see how strong you are and lets you see that you can soar. Because even an eagle, when they make their nest, like I study eagles all the time and I study different things. And, you know, as they make their nest, they make it with thorns and rocks. I mean, it's got the softness and stuff for the babies. But when it gets to a flying age, the mother starts taking the softness away. So that it forces the baby eaglets to be uncomfortable, because until you're uncomfortable, you'll never know you have the ability to fly, and you'll never know you were meant to soar. So the fact that you're like, well, it didn't have to be this way and whatever, it did have to be this way, because you would not have known what was in you had it not been this way.
Right.
You know, and you would not have gotten into that mindset of, I need to go heal little Tomika. And I need to, you know, realize what my husband's going. I need to realize that, yeah, sometimes your mistakes do hurt other people. And I need to own that. And I need to not blame my parents. And I need to not blame society and not, no, this was me.
This was me.
This was me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and yeah, there's wow, there's all these comments. I should be keeping up with all these comments. I'm sorry, guys. I'm like stuck in this conversation. I got loads of comments to put up here. Yeah. We forget how strong we are, even a little girl within us. That's how we change our story. Yeah, from being
absolutely, Sarah. Absolutely.
Empowerment. Mary, my girl, Mary Benson. Oh, that's my girl right there. So beautiful. Thank you for your strength. And see, these are things I need you to see, Tomika. You are affecting and empowering people right now. Wow. Now that was a power statement. Okay. I don't know which statement she was referring to, but if I had to and needed, normal, and necessary. Yeah. We go through in order to get to the purpose. It's absolutely right. You know, so, all right. So and now not only did you come through the coaching yourself, you're a social worker.
I am.
You help other people. You are a life coach. So you help other people. You have a purpose and a vision that you know you are meant to help the unhealed heal. And because you recognize that the decisions that you made were from your unhealed state. That's why you thought you saw your husband cheating when he wasn't. That's why, you know, but then what you're stuck in. See, that's the thing. When we get stuck in stuff like that, for things that come up, it changes our filter of how we see the world and how we show up. So, you know, even though he wasn't cheating, whatever was in your mind that convinced you, that was so strong that it changed what you saw.
It was real to me. It was very real to me.
Yeah.
It was very real.
Yeah.
It was very real.
Yeah. And it wasn't even true, you know? And so, yeah, we have to guard, you know, our thoughts so strongly and we have to heal, because if we're not healed, you know, you bleed all over everybody, you know, because like they always say, you know, hurting people hurt other people out of their own hurt. And if you're wounded and you're trying to do something, you know, there's a possibility that you can bleed all over somebody else in the process and not realize it because you're not healed yet. So I'm so proud of you for going aside to yourself to get healed, to take that step. That was brave in itself, you know? So once you came out of the coaching yourself and everything, so then how did that change your marriage? How did that change your life? What did that set you on course for? Once you took that little girl and, you know, you were like, I got you. How did everything change for Tomika?
Well, for one thing, I just completed the 122 days, December 31st. So,
wow.
Okay. So this just happened. Yeah. So okay. I haven't been out long. But as far as my marriage is concerned, one thing that I can say, that part of it, right now, like I told my husband, I'm still, and I'm honest, and I'll say this on here, I still haven't, after that man did never blame me for this and just have stood by my side, I have still not just completely just let him all the way in, because nobody's been in here for 24 years. Nobody has come close to me, you know. And then we've been married almost 5 years. And so I want to, and I desire, but like I told him, I've got to get to that place where I don't want to force anything and just let it happen. You know? But it's a desire. I don't desire to keep him. I mean, he's close up, but I'm still just kind of like, because that means I completely step out of the way and I'm no longer serving as a protector once I completely let him all the way in. But things have gotten better because I'm not so guarded, even with my relationship with women. You know, I've always kind of felt like inadequate or just felt rejection, but it's like I'm just stepping out. I just keep pushing myself, scared and all, to network and make these connections because I see myself differently now.
Okay. So let me ask you a question. All right. Let me start asking you a bunch of questions. Okay. What is it you're afraid of? But as far as letting your husband in, what is it like when you feel him getting close? Okay. What's the first thought that comes to your mind?
the first thought is like, I don't even look at him as my husband. It's just like, I just look at it like something is trying to get in to defeat me. Like if even after all of that he's shown me from the physical side, I'm still a little like, what if he finally get over here and then start blaming me and then get in and then go.
Okay. So, all right. So how old were you when everything happened to you? You 12.
As far as the molestations and stuff?
Yeah. Yeah.
I was 12. I was orally sodomized at 5, but to be honest, that didn't traumatize me.
Right.
But
Right.
12, yeah, that did.
Well, and was that okay? Were you 12 years old when you got raped?
Yes.
Okay. So that's where it stopped for you.
Yeah.
12.
Yeah.
So, and it was somebody that you trusted, right?
Should have been a father figure. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. So when your husband is trying to get close to you, okay, that's, you leave your family and you cling, you create your new family and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So what do you think would be the worst thing that would happen if you let him in? What's the worst thing that could happen in your mind?
And I've been trying to get there myself, just going back and forth. Like, the only thing that I'm afraid of, because I've had so much dysfunction and instability, all I've been waiting on is just for something to just not to change. So it's like, he's been the same way the whole time.
Right.
That's what scared me even that day. Like, I want to believe you, but I'm waiting on you to change. And I literally have tried to force him to change. I can honestly say that. I've tried to go ahead on and show me.
You've tried to push him away. You've tried to see if you're
like, you need to show me exactly who you really are. And so it's like, I want to get over it. And I deep down inside, I know that man not gonna change, but it's just that little inkling of my control everything, trying to live,
Well, okay. So let's look at that then. Okay. So he's shown you that he's going to be there. He's shown you that he's not going to hurt you. He's shown you that he doesn't even hold this against you. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, you have a hard time accepting that.
Yes.
Because you're afraid that at any moment the rug's going to be pulled out, something's going to change. So it's like you're expecting the bottom to drop out. Mm-hmm. And that makes perfect logical sense, because if it was a father figure, Tomika, that raped you, then that is a caregiver, and and especially a father, because see, a man represents protection and security and all of that. Mm-hmm. And so if they take that from you, and the way you look up to your father and the way they treat you or whatever, then that's how you perceive every man to be after that, because this is the only example that you have. So with a caregiver hurting you, and especially there in the house and stuff, there was no safe place for you. There was no safe place.
Inside, like just to go inward.
The house wasn't safe. No. The family wasn't safe. And so, so then you're going to develop this, I can do it myself. So I can see now why you would do the coaching yourself, because you learned a long time ago that I'm not safe. And I know you were on that very first show, when I was talking about those 3 things that happen in our life that formulate our personality and the way that we see the world. The first thing is something's wrong. It's usually a baby will cry when something is wrong. And, they'll learn that if they cry, somebody will come. Okay. And then the second thing is, I don't fit in. All right. And you keep saying you don't fit in. You don't know where you fit. You don't know where you fit. And then the third thing is, this will never happen to me again. Mm-hmm. And then we change our way we are and the way we show up in the world. So at 12, when your father figure did that to you, this is never going to happen to you again. You went in for 24 years. You took care of Tomika because you realized that you couldn't trust anybody else to.
That's it. That's it. That's it. And with him, and again, you know, my grandmother is the only like that's just the only person that's been in this earth realm. And so it's like now since she's transitioned, I'm not gonna lie, I just be like, oh my God. And I know I've never been alone, even when she was present. But like with him, just what I've been doing as far as myself is just getting to that place where everything that I've expected for somebody else to do, I've showed up and I'm doing it for myself. So we're at that place of where because I want him and I do, he deserves it. And it makes our relationship, it don't make it, it's difficult because he's like, let me in, and I'm just like,
right.
And I know he's mad, like, girl, why don't you trust me? But it's like, I'm not going to fault me for that either, though. It's like, man, I didn't realize just how traumatized I really was. Even before the rape, just with my mom just kind of being in and out, I had to literally watch her like a dying process over and over and over. And I didn't realize, I was like, man, that's why I'm so, you know, just afraid, because my development was so thrown off. But that is something that I'm definitely not gonna just say, okay, I'm gonna heal me and just bear it. No, I'm gonna let that in. And I am, but I'm not gonna force it. I know it's there, and I'm doing everything to start pulling that final layer back too, though.
And that's incredible. You know, you got people, see, you're hitting right here, like April is saying, she knows the feeling. She knows the feeling as well. So, you know, you're not alone in this, and there's other people. And that's why I'm so glad that you're on here and, you know, as transparent and authentic as you are, because in certain areas, you know, you don't got it together. Hell, I don't got it together in a lot of areas. I'm the counselor, but shit, I got stuff that I go through.
You know, your mind daily stuff still gonna come in and try to remind you. You have to just say, You have to step up and just say, no, I'm not going to come into agreement with that. The thoughts come, the distractions come.
Yes,
come.
Right. So let's get back to not letting your husband in. And when I said, what's the worst that could happen? So you're afraid, you know, that you're going to get hurt. So that's a genuine fear that you have, you know, but here's the thing. He's shown you over and over and over again that he's there and he's not going to hurt you. He's shown you that. So it's just a matter of you accepting that and working into that, you know, and you're right. And nobody can force it. Nobody can be like, hey, tomorrow, you know, as of tomorrow, you can be fine. You're going to let this man in. That ain't going to happen. Okay. But, you know, a softening happens, you know, just like ask yourself, what's the evidence that he's going to leave? Your husband, not the one that hurt you, not the men that have hurt you, the one that stood by you. Is there any evidence that he's going to leave? No. There's not. See, because when we have those negative thoughts, okay, that come up like that, here's something that's like, honest to God, this is like my own technique that God gave me that I'm going to have to name it something. I'm going to have to like patent it or something. I don't know what the freak to call it. But here's how you can challenge those negative thoughts. Seriously. You ask yourself 3 questions. Number 1, is it true? So, is it true? Has your husband left you? Is it true?
No.
Number 2, does it belong to me? Meaning, is this something you're saying, or is this something somebody else said and put on you that he's going to leave?
I honestly, I think it's just me, because even prior to say what I was said around, because of course it was all kinds of stuff said about.
Right.
Oh my God. But not even that, because literally it had to have been something in me for us to even get to that place. So that's just me. That's okay.
So it's you. So this is you. You're saying this to you.
I am.
Okay. So now, number 3, are you going to let it take up residence? Are you going to let it stay there? Because that's a choice you have. Are you going to stay in this frame of mind, convincing yourself that he's going to leave? Just like you convinced yourself that night that he was cheating, and he wasn't. There was no evidence that he was. So at any moment, you can make that decision.
Missing yourself.
And oh,
My volume went back up.
that's okay. That's okay. But at any moment, you can make that decision, that I'm not going to let this take up residence anymore. And now, what does that mean? Well, that may mean you may need to get to know your husband. Maybe you don't know him like you think you do. Maybe you need to spend time getting to really know each other, and realize all the wonderful things that there is about this man.
I agree.
And allow yourself the ability to see him that way, and that'll be a kind of like a baby step to letting him back in, is see him for who he really is and who he's showing you that he is. Because everything that you think is happening, that's in here.
Right.
It's not what is out here. It's not what's happening, and yes, it's terrible that you were raped. Yes, it was terrible that you were molested, but that's not happening right now. That happened and it was horrible, but it's not happening right now. You have somebody who's trying to love you. He's trying to love you. And let's just look at it all the way. This man, you had a car accident. After the hospital, he gets hit by a train. He's amputated. And he still loves you. And he doesn't hold you responsible. He forgave you. And he's trying to love you. All of you. That's an awesome thing.
It is, but I'm still just kind of like, it's just that little inkling is still kind of like.
What is the fear? What is What is that little thing that's keeping you? What is it? Like, what's the exact words that you hear?
Well, because I'm getting to that place where, or just getting to that place of just allowing that restoration to just take place in my life. So believing, outside of everything that I can see, the word, I'm still in my mind, and honestly, even he and I, because now one thing about it, he and I communicate, we talk, right?
Right.
So sometimes I just be like, when I'm battling, when I'm having those battles, where I'm still kind of going back, and not so much since I've come through my coaching, but during that time, it's like in my mind, I'm like, dude, I wasn't worth it. Like literally, my thing is, I just wish you would have let me out the car. And if you would have just let me out of the car, then this wouldn't have happened. And then he's like, but Tomika, what if you would have got hit? No one wins in this situation. He's like, if I would have let you out of the car and you got hit, he was like, nobody would have won in the situation. I'm just like, but I'd rather be the one amputated than not have to make it. Just the thing that this is really a traumatic situation. This is traumatic. And then for you, like I said, for me, I'm like, how did I end up here? How did this happen to me? And all those things where I'm just like, my God. But sometimes I just be like, man, again, like your sister was telling you, that she wishes you could see yourself how she does. And I'm just like, okay. I mean, I'm cool, don't get me wrong, but I was just like, man, was that really worth? Like, I don't know. I just feel kind of.
Stop it right there. That's the second time you've said that. And I was going to bring it to your attention. Your language shapes your reality. Okay. You said, I wasn't even worth it. Dude, I wasn't even really worth it. So at the core, is that what you feel about yourself, that you're not worth it?
Not now, but
okay. Then.
Not too long.
Then.
Right. I was just like, man, like,
you're worth it. Okay, so if that's how you felt then, and you don't feel that now, if that's no longer there, if it's truly no longer there, what is stopping you? What is it you're hearing in your head?
I think for me, I just believe it's just me, even just period, my life now, just living the newness that God has given, like stepping in it, like just really walking in it. It's like I still need to try to remember something to make me feel like me. So that's familiar. Not, having a wall is familiar, but I don't really want it there. But it's just like I was just kind of battling me to just lead to have some normalcy from when I was bound, if that makes any sense. Like little fragments of being institutionalized in my mindset. So it's literally me. I could literally just walk on out there, but it's like I still need something to remind me.
Well, did you know that when people are held captive, okay, like they're a prisoner of war or something, or if a man, you know, like locks a woman in a basement and, you know, keeps her there for years and all this stuff, do you know they actually fall in love with their abuser? Do you know what that's called?
I forgot it's Stockholm syndrome, right?
It's Stockholm syndrome. Yeah. And it's like you need to be reminded of your captivity because that's familiar. It's what you know. But here's the thing. Like I said, okay, so you're used to that valley, that's comfortable for you. But every valley is surrounded by majestic mountains. You were not meant to stay in the valley. You're always there. You can see, and you're surrounded by what you are to become. And you're like 3/4 of the way there, but there's that inkling, there's that something, you know. And what would happen if you realize that not only are you worth it, it was necessary, and you embrace it. And you're like, this is the path I had to come through to get to where I am. And the thing is, it sounds like you're afraid because you keep saying, I need something to remind me of me. What is it that you're holding on to that you think you would lose if you totally gave everything over? What is that one thing that you think you would lose?
The one thing is just again, so I know me protecting myself ended up being so destructive. But I guess just the initial protective barrier was not to destroy and hurt people. Right. So I'm trying to just grab hold to the initial reason, which is I can always be comforted, basically. And so, of course, when you're stepping into the newness of life, and of course, I had to go through a dying process. But like I tell people, sometimes I look in the mirror, and it's just like, because I've always been afraid of losing my mind. So I'm like, man, I need to make sure that I remember myself.
Why would you be afraid of losing your mind? Like, where does that come from?
Because because my actions, people that, Tomika with her crazy stuff, Tomika crazy, and then of course when this happened, Okay. So that's something that's attached to my name, that I'm crazy and I'm this and I'm that. Okay. We used to do a lot of crazy stuff, no lie.
Okay, so stay right there because that's a key. That's a key. It really is, because that's deeper. That's a deeper level of something you automatically hear in yourself as, I'm crazy. I'm going to lose my mind. So it's like, that would make sense why you wouldn't let go. And you have to have just a piece of you left. But, so like when I ask people, with the things that stopped them, I'll ask them, I'm like, who was it that said that to you? And how old were you when that was said? Because that person, that version of you still has yet to get healed. And it's so funny that Sarah is watching this, tonight, and she was commenting so much because she gave me an illustration the other night that is incredible. Those Russian dolls that have like a big doll and a little doll, and they're like wooden dolls, and they have this little teeny one, but there's like 20 of them.
I think I know what you're talking about.
You know what I mean? It's like you see this great big doll, it's a wooden doll, and you take it, and there's another wooden doll, and there's another wooden doll, and it gets to the little one inside that just like moves and stuff like that. So that's like representative of every version of ourself at every trauma. So that little tiny one is the youngest one, but then maybe there was another trauma that needs to get healed. Maybe there was another. So it's like you started the process, and you've got it almost there, but there's still a couple of versions of you. So yeah, you got the I'm worth it taken care of with the coaching and all that stuff. But that's Tomika, she's crazy, I'm gonna lose my mind. That may be, it's just a suggestion. It may be a version that you have to go back and visit and heal that part too. And there's many layers of the healing. You got to heal every single layer of every single trauma of every single age and every single version of Tomika.
And I have a lot of them, and that's what I'm saying. It's like a lot, but the thing is, I'm willing to do it. See, there was a time when I was not willing to do any of it.
Yeah.
So it's like,
that's awesome.
all right.
That is why you're as powerful, and you don't even realize how powerful you freaking are. You are a badass. Oh my God.
Thank you, girl.
Can you believe we're already at 55 minutes?
I feel yeah.
So I'm gonna throw up here your IG. Okay, so tell people how they can get in touch with you. I've got your IG up there, and we got like 2 or 3 minutes left. But tell them how they can reach you, and then I'm gonna have you say one thing to end it, and then we'll go from there. So how do people reach you and follow you?
Right. So on Facebook, you can follow me on Facebook at Tomika H Mack. That's TOMIKA H Mack MACK. Then on Instagram, you can follow me at TMack _8318. And that's the only social media platform that I have. But if you follow me, then you'll be able to see more things that I have coming in the near future. I'm an author as well. So I'm going to be putting my book out real soon.
Awesome. Yeah, see, we need parts 2, 3, and 4 with you, because this is just the beginning.
Yeah.
This is just the beginning. But I'm going to give you like less than a minute here. What is a parting word that you would like to say to the unhealed that are watching, or better yet, or maybe even to yourself?
So I'll say to me and to my tribe. I call y'all my tribe. That are unhealed. Just know, I don't want you to beat yourself up another day. That the choices and the decisions, why I can't get this crap together, why this, I'm not the wife I want to be, I'm not the mother, because it's a little girl trying to run all facets of your life. It's an unhealed little girl in there. Yeah. But I'm telling you, you gotta heal her, because you may be thinking, well, it's okay to leave it. No, look at me. It's toxic, it's dangerous, and it's not unfair to your children, your husband, and all of that. And you kind of know, that you've been, your soul is ready to empty, but you like me, and you want to keep that protective barrier there. But just know that you have people that will hold your hand through that process of beginning to let that go. And I'm one of those women that understands. I won't judge you. I can't judge you, number one, but it's time, and God says it's time. And that's what He told me to tell you. If you look to the God source like a father figure, don't worry about what you've done in your clothes, your suit.
Right.
He don't even see any of that, but He's ready to heal you.
Yeah. Yes.
That's it.
Very good. Very good. And thank you so much, Tomika, for coming on the show, for being my guest, for being as open, transparent, and authentic as you are. And there's a lot of comments. You'll go back and you'll see them and stuff like that afterward. And a lot of people, I mean, you were hitting right there with a lot of people. So not only is everything you went through necessary, your story is necessary. Where we are right now today, this day was preset to be here, and I'm so glad to be just a small part of it, and to help get your story out, because your story matters.
You're a big part of it. I'm a big part of it.
But your story matters because you matter, and your heart matters. And that's what I need you to see, and how powerful you are. And we're going to talk a whole lot more. All right. I got something I show you and stuff like that I'll help. I'll give you all kinds of stuff. But anyway, thank you so much for coming on. Guys, share this, because, here's the thing. The journey is not always finished. Sometimes we get people in here, and this is what I love about Tomika. She's in the midst of the journey. She's in the midst of it. Now, do I think I'm going to solve this tonight? Freak no. Hell no.
I'm going to relax and enjoy myself.
Yeah. But the thing is it's okay to be in the midst of the journey, as messy as it looks, as much as you may not understand where the answers are. You're here.
I am.
And you're exactly where you're supposed to be.
I am.
All right. So blessings. I love you so much. And everybody share this. And thank you so much for tuning in. And we're going to definitely have a part 2, 3, 4, and probably 5.
Bye.
Have a good night, everybody. Thank you for watching.